Well, the United States in particular has made clear its opposition to any major Israeli ground offensive in Rafah. It said it hadn't seen any plans that would adequately protect all those living and sheltering there. And it's emerged that the Biden administration last week decided to pause delivery of a shipment of bombs to Israel, about 3,500 in total, because of concerns about that possible ground operation. Israeli military officials, though, appear to be playing down the US move.
The security assistance of the United States since the beginning of the war is of unprecedented scale, I think, in the history of the State of Israel. Alongside this, there is something more important than security assistance, which is the operational assistance. The partnership of the IDF with the American Central Command CENTCOM is of unprecedented operational scale. The aid is unprecedented. The operational partnership is significant. When there are disputes, and there are, they are being resolved behind closed doors in a matter-of-fact way. We are responsible for the security interests of the State of Israel, and we are attentive to the interest of the United States in the region.
Well, for more on what's happening in and around Gaza, I'm joined now in the studio by the ambassador to Palestine, for Palestine to Nigeria, Abdullahi Abu Shawesh. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you so much indeed, Charles,
First of all,
for having me.
Just no let-up in the bombing of Rafah in southern Gaza. What's the latest that you're hearing from there?
Before the latest, of course, Charles, as usual, or as I used to say in all the interviews that I already conducted with many TVs, I found myself have no other option except to start by some corrections.
Right.
When you say that pose a large shipment to Israel, the United States has posed a large shipment to Israel, which is weapons, you mean, then operation major, opposing a major operation. When it came to the large shipment, just according to the United Nations.
Well, we're going to come to that
according to the United Nations, it's because wording have a meaning, Charles.
Right.
And at the very beginning, we should put the wording or the issue.
So what's the wording that you're talking about?
I mean, just according to the United Nations main entities, which is dealing with the unexploded materials, they said 14,500 kilograms, 14,500 tons of unexploded material still spread in Gaza. This is the unexploded.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with the American shipment?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to link it, which means that we still have 14,500 tons of unexploded material in Gaza, which means that 10% of the those type of exploded material is used to be unexploded, which means it is not activated. This means Gaza was struck, attacked by at least 140,000 a ton of
yeah, but I don't understand how that is a correction.
All of these weapons,
taking a lot of time.
all of these weapons is the United States of America, made in the United States of America, and sent to Israel by the United States of America. We know that, or at least there is more than 100 shipment deal was delivered to Israel. When it came to the opposition, or the United States is against a major operation, what's the meaning of major operation? Who gonna decide whether this is a major or minor operation? Likewise,
right. Okay, you've made that point, and I apologize for interrupting you. I'm just concerned that we get to everything before we run out of time. How worrying is it for you that the Israelis have ignored the international community's concerns and have moved ahead with their operation in Rafah, particularly since we seem to be close to a ceasefire?
As if this is the first time that Israel is ignoring the international community call. Israel is a country or a state above the international law itself. The international community called for the two-state solution long time ago, 1947. Israel, when they established Israel, they not only ignoring this resolution or the resolution that adopted by the General Assembly and they created Israel, they occupied more land from the historical land of Palestine above what is designated in this particular resolution. So that when it came to the international community, when it came to the international law, Israel is turning its back since the first ever minute that it was established. So that Israel did not care about the international community, but care about the international law.
Right. In this particular instance, I mentioned there that we seem to be close to a ceasefire. Is that more or less the point, as some people suggest, that Israel does not want to accept that ceasefire deal and hence the military action?
Sharply, Saturday, the current Prime Minister, Netanyahu, the current Prime Minister, called, which is Saturday, and when it came to Saturday, this is something they did not work in it, because you know how much it's sacred regarding when it came to Saturday. He called the media, the Israeli media, and told them whether it is with deal or without deal, we will going to invade and totally invade and destroy Rafah, which means that he's sending a message to the to whom is sitting in Cairo at that time, to the Egyptian, to American, Qatarian, and other parties of this negotiation, to stop, to kill, to eliminate any attempt or any potential to reach a deal. And this is what Yair Lapid, his opposite the opposite leader, and the families of the Israeli homes in Gaza these days, they came loud and clear and very loud in the Israeli media after his speech to the media last Saturday to condemn what did he mention. So that when it came to the deal, Israel, in particular Benjamin Netanyahu and the two fanatics, because Smotrich and Ben Gvir is used to say, if you went in this deal, if you did not invade Rafah, if you did not destroy Rafah, we will dismantle the European.
But what do you make of the American position here? Because, I mean, and I'm asking you, you're a diplomat, to sort of be fairly considered in your assessment of it, because there have been very public verbal attempts by the Americans to stop Israel from going into Rafah, but that has not been heeded. Do you think that the US is likely to change its support for Israel in any fundamental way? Because, we've seen them holding back this arms shipment now.
Two things. Just 3 days ago or 2 days ago, Biden himself, the president in America, said with all the, and I will not go to repeat his exact wording, but with all the differences of point of view, so to speak, but his or American support for Israel is unshakable. This is first. Second, we used to judge the people according to what did our hero Nelson Mandela learned us. We used to judge, or should judge the people according to their acts towards our cases, towards our cause, not according to what did they used to say. When it came to the American, today, every single weapons that killing the Palestinian people, the majority of it is used.
So you don't think there'll be any change, because the Americans are
this is
saying,
what did Biden, not me. This is what Biden.
No, I understand
2 days ago was
but
mentioning.
behind the scenes, the Americans have been putting a lot of pressure on the Israelis, and now they've taken public action by stopping a shipment of arms, and all the speculation coming from the United States, all the predictions, is that the Americans are going to do something more.
You mean one shipment out of more than 100
Well, that's a start, isn't it?
No, the start, if the United States of America intended to put an end, this war cannot be happened without the full subsidiary, without the full permission, without the full support of the United States of America.
Well, conditions meanwhile on the ground in Gaza are dire, from what we're hearing, getting worse for tens of thousands of Gazans who've been ordered to leave Rafah by the
120,000
Israeli military. But we understand that the Israelis have reopened one of the main aid crossings into Gaza. Will that make a difference?
No, of course, when it came to the humanitarian issue, we are calling for, in a daily basis, to more subsidiary for the Palestinian people. The United Nations itself is calling for more subsidiary, for more trucks to come to enter Gaza. And we know that without this crossing point, we have 5 crossing points with Israel. Without this is the only one that still remain that the Palestinians can breathe through it. So that it's very important steps, and we call for the international community again to put more pressure on Israel to make sure that this crossing point is to work in its full capacity, because by the end of the day it is full capacity is exceeding more than 500 trucks per day. But unfortunately, because of the logistic complication that they impose it does not, the trucks enter Gaza does not exceed the 100 per day.
And all this, of course, coming at the same time as the negotiations for a possible ceasefire have started again in Cairo. What's the latest that you're hearing on that? Because, I mean, one imagines that using that US leverage will be all the more important now as talks about a truce continue. And as I mentioned at the outset, the US is saying that it believes a revised Hamas proposal could lead to a breakthrough.
I think, but very important issue, Charles, to say it. Even the Israeli, because I used to read the Israeli on a daily basis. I used to take all my own information. The majority of my information came from the Israeli newspaper, Jerusalem Post, Time of Israel, Doit Ahronot, and other main media outlet in Israel. All of them is using to say that even the delegation that Netanyahu sent it to Cairo is less or short of any type of authority. So that what's the meaning of negotiation if you did not have an authority to discuss and to give some to give some and to take some other. I used to work in the United Nations for 8 years. Majority of it, all of it, in the negotiation itself, without authority, without delegation of the Israeli delegation went to Cairo with zero authority to discuss with the others, so that there is no negotiation. But again, when it came to the what is happening right now, we used to talk about, or they used to talk about, the 3 stages. But I can assure you there is tens of if not hundred of very semi-details that no one know about it, because by the end of the day,
but are they making progress?
I think
we're almost
yes,
out of
it
time.
seems that at least Hamas is saying that they are accepting it, and the American, whom is completely aligning themselves with Israel, is saying something very positive about what is happening coming from the Palestinian side.
Ambassador, I really appreciate your taking the time to come in. It's always important to hear your side of the story, because we heard from the Israeli side just a couple of days ago. Abdullahi Abu Shawesh is the ambassador of Palestine to Nigeria. Thank you very much indeed.
You are welcome.